Hey there, welcome to ready.set.jam, a game design competition where we bring together a group of game creators to compete in a series of game-making challenges. Over 3 rounds, they'll create projects that will be played and rated by the community and our panel of judges. At the end of each round, the contestant with the lowest score will be excused from the competition until there's only one dev left. This is our final round, let's see how it's gone so far. In the first round, our designers took on the challenge of the classic game round, where they had to recreate or reimagine the game Snake with the twist of shop. Then, in round 2, which we call the scope creep round, our devs took the game they made in the first round and updated it with the scope creep of protect it. The series has been unfortunately hit with multiple drops at the last minute. Our 4th dev in round 1 had to excuse themselves right at the end of the deadline, and in the second round, Barji sadly had to step away due to schoolwork. Unfortunately, that's just life, and sometimes that's how things go. But we push forward, and luckily we still have 2 fantastic game devs that are here and ready to show us what they can do. If you've missed any of the previous episodes, there's a card up top to check them out. Before we jump into it, let's go ahead and meet our final 2 contestants and see what they've made so far. Salman is a game dev creating work as Jacenimo Games, making a variety of games on many different platforms, mainly showing progress and projects on Twitter. In the first round, Salman made Honey, I Crashed Into Trees, a difficult to control collection game that has the player traversing a level to collect trees while avoiding saw blades. The car is always driving and turning left or right. Tapping will change the direction of the turn, and a hold will make the car dash forward in a straight line. The overall polish of the game is amazing, with the art, sound, and effects all being top-notch, placing Honey, I Crashed Into Trees in 2nd place. In round 2, Salman updated the game to get the shop in that was missing in the first round, and it added an end goal to the game, as well as a nice break every so often to reset. The new upgrades helped the enjoyment of the game for the judges, bumping up the score to finish tied in 1st place in round 2. Spherous is a game dev, Twitch stream, and video creator, live streaming working on different projects, game jams, shader creation, and more while helping other devs by answering questions and making tutorials. In the first round, Spherous made Cart Caddy, taking an unexpected approach to the shop twist by having you play as a store's cart return machine collecting shopping carts from a parking lot, while avoiding insane drivers in their cars. As more carts are collected, the train becomes longer and slower. Dropping off the carts will reset your size and speed to let you keep collecting. The judges loved the take on the shop twist, and scored the game high enough for it to finish in 1st place. In the second round, Spherous added a shield that would activate when returning the carts, with its duration being determined by the number of carts you just dropped off. This, along with adding a new parking lot layout, kept the judges' scores high, and Cart Caddy was able to stay in 1st place for round 2, although this time tied with Honey, I Crashed Into Trees. So moving into the final round, both Salman and Spherous are on equal footing. They'll now compete in a head-to-head game jam to see who will be crowned the ready.set.jam champion. They'll be given both a theme and a restriction. Over the next 2 weeks, they'll have a total of 48 hours to complete their games for the judges to rate and play. And for this final round, the theme is everything has a cost. And the restriction is 1 screen. Let's see what they make.
So I thought it would be interesting to make a resource-based twin-stick shooter with screen wrapping. The player has 3 resources that they must balance: the health, their energy, and their fuel. Every time that you take a hit while you have energy, the damage will be subtracted from your energy bar before your health bar. So as long as you have energy, you should be able to stay alive. However, your attacks cost energy, so there's a balancing act. If you attack too often and don't kill fast enough, you might run out of energy and thus be vulnerable to the enemy attacks. Killing enemies provides you additional sources of energy and fuel, so it's important that after you kill an enemy, you pick up the collectibles that they drop on the ground. I added some power-ups as well. However, I wanted to make it so that the power-ups could stack in a way that cost you additional resources if you used them too aggressively. So I made it in a way that you pick up a power-up and you can only bank 1 at a time. If you pick up additional power-ups, it'll override the previous one that you have banked. So if you can activate your power-ups fast enough, you can stack the power-ups at a resource cost. The waves ramp up in a linear fashion, so it takes a while to kind of get to a point where you're being challenged, but once you're being challenged, it kind of excels past that rather quickly. I had a lot of fun throughout the process of this entire game jam, all 3 rounds. It was a wonderful opportunity, and I'm thankful for being able to participate.
When it comes to trial by combat, I wish I was able to get more of the bosses done. I designed 4, ended up basically doing 1.5. Like the second boss fight was supposed to have 2 more attack patterns, but I didn't have enough time to add them in. So I tried to do Frankenstein it a bit, and I don't know, it ended up breaking in one way or another. I just wish if I hadn't underestimated this one timer bug, I probably could have gotten more stuff sorted out in the game. The original plan when it came to everything having a cost was to make the player use their shield to power up projectiles. But as I went further into the development of it, I noticed it wasn't as fun and decided to refocus my efforts and to justify it to myself. I thought making the shield be enabled for a very limited amount of time to reflect bullets was a way I could fit that requirement, since the bullets can pretty much take you out very quickly, but it's the same for the boss if you reflect bullets onto them. I was so happy with the character designs. I wish I could have done more with it.
Alright, the build time is up and the games have been submitted. It's time to send them off to our judges to rate and play. Each round is scored by 5 judges in 6 categories: art, audio, feel, originality, fun, and overall. The judges will be myself as well as my community. During the judging time frame, anyone on my Twitch or Discord was able to play the games and leave a rating. Those ratings are then averaged into one judge vote, which is combined with mine and our 3 special guest judges. Walliver, an incredible game dev, video creator, and Twitch streamer who is the lead designer on a little game you may have heard of called Where's My Water, as well as many others. Walliver has also released games like Pro Gymnast, the Switch game Very Very Valet, and is currently rebooting their popular mobile game Jellycar into Jellycar World. Games Plus James is an awesome game dev and content creator focused on making tutorial courses for Unity teaching a wide variety of skills. James has also released a game called Scoot Kaboom and the Tomb of Doom, which is an adorably frustrating precision platformer that all takes place on one large screen. Polymars is a fantastic game dev and video creator here on YouTube making all kinds of projects, like making a Game Jam game work on 5 different consoles, or creating games with bot APIs to work on platforms like Twitter and Discord. Thank you to the judges for taking time out of their schedules to play, rate, and give feedback. Now, let's see what they have to say. For the final round, Spherous made In the Belt, a twin-stick shooter where you control a ship that's constantly using resources and must destroy incoming enemies to gain them back. You need to manage health, energy, and fuel, as well as a variety of power-ups. Energy bombs can be unleashed to do massive damage, but you gotta be careful because your reserves are gonna take a big hit as well. As the difficulty ramps up, it gets quite hectic, with power-ups that let you kill many enemies and collect their drops from a distance. The goal of the game is to survive as long as you can and see if you can get a high score. All the judges really like the art. Everything is clean and readable, with nice ship and power-up designs, satisfying explosions and particles, and a great effect on the lasers that makes them very clear and visible. Polymars did feel the background stood out a little too much, but still felt that everything else worked nicely together. Spherous added music this round, and it's a great fit for the flow of the game. It has a good energy and helps build the spacey atmosphere. The sound effects all work well, with satisfying explosions and crunches as the ships and asteroids break apart. I would have loved to have had a warning sound of some sort when you're low or out of energy, since the gauge can be a bit hard to look at when the action is heating up. The moving and shooting is good for most of the judges, but Walliver did have a disconnect with the ship always facing the cursor but being able to move in all directions. Destroying ships and asteroids is very enjoyable. I just wish there was a bit of screen shake to help enhance the impact a little. The game does have a bit of a pacing issue where the early game feels really slow before it ramps up, taking a good couple of minutes before you're ever really in danger. The way the power-up stack is a neat balancing act with the player using energy all the time. The power-ups have different energy uses which can combine to drain your tank quickly, along with the bomb that uses a large amount of energy but can get you a lot more back in return. These add a nice push-your-luck feel to the standard twin-stick shooter type game. It also fits the theme because everything does have a cost. It also ties into the one screen because screen wrapping also costs energy. The fun of the game comes when you're shooting enemies, activating and combining pickups, and dodging multiple attacks. The problem is, it takes a long time to get there. The judges all think the game is fun, but needs a change in pacing so we can get to the fun sooner. Although Walliver did like being OP with rocket launchers for a while though. Overall, all the judges feel the game is well made and fun to play. with the wish that the difficulty ramped a bit faster. The art, effects, music, and sound all work together excellently, and the balancing of fuel, energy, and health to stay alive makes it a really engaging experience. Salman's final round game is Trial by Combat, a boss fight game that has the player using a sword and shield to attack and repel projectiles to achieve victory. Unfortunately, Salman had planned for a bit too much than the time that was allotted. Out of the 4 planned bosses, 2 were unfinished and 1 was partially complete. In the game, you have a shield that's necessary to not be hit by screen-wide attacks, but position yourself in the right place and you'll reflect the attack back at the boss, dealing more damage than your sword alone. The judges love the art, especially the fantastic character design and animations. Everything is very clear and readable with a great use of contrast. Color coding the attacks with red made it easy to know what would hurt you and make sure that it stood out. The arenas are also very clear where you can stand, with a nice stylized background that doesn't distract from the action. The game sounds are good, the music fits the vibe really well, and the sound effects are satisfying and fun. James particularly liked the player attacking and damaging enemy sounds. Some of the audio effects are a bit loud in the mix though, making them a little overbearing during parts of gameplay. The movement and attacking feels good, and everything you do has some form of feedback. There is a bit of a pause on hit that the judges didn't love as much though. It has the unfortunate side effect of making the game feel a bit jerky during melee attacks. There's a nice slowdown and zoom in when the shield is active and repelling attacks, but that can also get to be a bit much if used too frequently. Adding the shield to a bullet hell boss fight is a fun idea. As Polymar said, it changes the mentality of, oh no, I need to hide, to haha, let's jump into the bullets and shield. Unfortunately, the everything has a cost theme got a bit lost in the mix and isn't really present in the execution. All the judges enjoyed playing the game. Figuring out the boss attack patterns and how to use them to deal more damage was really fun. It's really unfortunate that the other bosses weren't able to be finished, and sadly there are still a few bugs that arise with the second boss every now and then. But the general mechanics and flow when working are all enjoyable. All the judges liked the game, but each one had something that they felt was just not quite there. Learning the enemy's patterns and using that to position yourself in the best spot to reflect for more damage is a great idea. But the missing out of the theme and the pause and zoom effects were focuses for the judges. And that's the feedback. Let's take a look at how the voting went. Both our devs made great experiences with very different approaches, and you should be incredibly proud of what you've done. But there can only be one winner, and the designer taking home victory today is Spherous. In the Belt looks and plays great. Mowing down waves of enemies with multiple power-ups is a joy, and it hits perfectly with the theme and restriction. For Salman, Trial by Combat looks and feels great, but unfortunately time got the better of it this time and we're missing some variety as well as the theme. Thank you so much for taking part, and I look forward to seeing all the amazing things you make in the future. And a huge congratulations to Spherous. It was a close race through the whole competition and you consistently delivered high quality player experiences. Congratulations again. And now a quick note from me. This is the end of the 3 series that we had prepared. We ran them all pretty much simultaneously, and we've learned a lot from the experience. These were supposed to be released a little bit more spread out, but unfortunately, life kind of got in the way for me and everything got pushed back, so I've been trying to get them out before the new year. I started the show as a fun way to have a friendly competition, as well as to hopefully show off some cool game dev and content creators that you may not know. It's been an absolute blast, but there are definitely things that I would like to change. I'm going to be taking a break for the holidays and then getting a new plan together for a new year of Game Jam competition content. I've got some new ideas that I'm really excited about, and I'll be posting a video in the new year letting you know what's to come. Also, we'll be letting you know where to apply if you would like to take part yourself. So be sure to hit subscribe and ring the bell to make sure you're notified when that video comes out. I also talk about ready.set.jam quite a bit on my live stream over at twitch.tv/Vimlark. So you can come hang out there, ask some questions, and I'd love to have a discussion with you. Thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed. I've been your host Vimlark, and I will see you next time on ready.set.jam. Please go check out all our amazing game designers. Links to them as well as our judges are in the description below. I need to thank Gingerbeard4251 and Mr. Boxmonkey for all of their help. Without them, none of this would be happening. If you would like to help support the channel, keep these going and see more, giving the video a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell are all amazing ways to help out. Sharing this video with others you think would like it would also be immensely appreciated. If you would like to go a step further, I have a Patreon where you can directly support these videos, like these awesome people: Chichimon, Cinnabunny, Curdle Games, Baron Earth, Nightfall, Jed, Kevin Halgau, Killboy Gaming, Motzi Makes, Salty Pretzel, Scott Hansen, Soapy Gnome, Straight Up Gruntled, and Warren Stephen Rose. I really can't thank you all enough for the support. If you would like to chat with me, the best place to do that is on my live streams at twitch.tv/Vimlark. We have a super chill community and I would love to talk with you. And we also have a Discord full of even more incredible people. If you've hung around to this point in the video, you're the best. Thank you so much. I'll talk with you next time. Have a good one. Later.